There is a lot of conventional wisdom in the credit card community. If you watch videos here on YouTube, you're going to hear many of the same things echoed again and again and again. Well, I find myself often an outlier on these opinions. And I think that, well, that might be right for some people, but it's certainly not right for everybody. So I thought I'd do a video where I share some of my extremely unpopular viewpoints in regard to points and miles and what the best strategy and approach is, at least for some of us. This won't fit everybody, and I know that there'll be a lot of alternative opinions, and feel free to put those in the comments down below. These are the things I believe to be true, but that doesn't mean I'm always right about them. So feel free to let me know where I get it wrong down below. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and let's look at it together. The first unpopular opinion that I have is that cents per point do matter. Now, it's often said in this community, well, don't worry about the cents per point. You do you. You go ahead and just take that trip and just enjoy your time. And yes, we want to enjoy ourselves. That's why we amass points to be able to use. But to me, why would you use your points in a way that you could have chose a different approach and gotten more out of it? You could have taken more than one trip with those points if you just were strategic about your cent per point value. So to me, that would be like paying for things intentionally that you know are overpriced. I don't do that. I try to find the best bargain I can. So I think that really that wisdom, not that sometimes we might not make a decision that isn't the best cent per point value. We've all done that, and there's a time where that's appropriate. But in general, I don't think we should say cents per point don't matter. I think value really, really does matter, because you'll get more out of your points and you'll have more experiences to enjoy if you start paying attention to the value. The second thing that's an unpopular opinion is that effective annual fees are real. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes people say, well, this effective annual fee thing, that doesn't matter. Just because you're getting the credits back, you're really paying for that card. And those effective annual fees, when you try to figure after all these credits, what does it actually cost me, that's like a fiction, like it doesn't really exist. Well, the thing is that if I give you $100 and you give me back 90, I really only gave you 10. That's just a fact. Now, some people will argue, well, it's because people are spending money that they wouldn't have normally spent. Yeah, because in this game, we're all doing it because we want something we don't currently have. We either want to be able to travel, or we want to be able to travel at a level that we can't afford to travel currently. So of course that's true, but does that mean it's not real value? No, if I give you $100 and you give me back 90, then that's still an effective $10 that I paid you in the first place. So I think when we're talking about these effective annual fees, they don't matter, and that what you pay for the card is what you've got to figure. Well, if you have a good budget and you know where your money's going, you track your money, then it's money in and money out. And I think effective annual fees are a real thing. The third one is a very unpopular opinion, and that is, I think there is a time, and it's a good thing at times, to hoard points. People always say, well, devaluations are going to happen, so you shouldn't hoard points. Well, yes, they are. But the thing is that devaluations are just a form of inflation. Inflation's going to happen. Do we tell people you shouldn't save money because your money's going to be worth less? No. You need to save the money so you have the money when you need to buy something, especially if you're saving up for something. So I think it's important because sometimes you need those points to get a good deal in the moment. And if you haven't built them up, if you haven't saved them, then when the good deals come, you're losing out as well. And sometimes you're losing out in a much, much bigger way. So I like to have a lot of points in a lot of systems so that when I find the deal, even if it's last minute, I can get the best deal possible. So I know it's an unpopular opinion. Not many people believe that, but there is a reason for it, because when you have it, then when you find a great bargain, then you have the ability to purchase it. And so to do that, you have to have a stash of points. So that's why I think hoarding points is not always a bad idea. Now, if the last one upset people, this one might really upset people because a lot of people are into this, and I get it. I'm not criticizing and I'm not judging. I'm simply saying from my perspective and from the perspective of math. I mean, when you add it up, and that is that hotel points are not a good value. Now, it used to be true that you could get a better value with Hyatt points, but with all of their program changing, I think they're even going to be lumped into this as well. Hotel points are not a good value. I mean, you're lucky with some of those hotel programs to get 1 cent per point value. You just as well cash out your points at 1 cent per point and get the cash and purchase the hotel. I mean, it's just not a good value. And especially when you think about for domestic flights, it's not that difficult, especially with American, Alaska, and some others, to get upwards of 2 cents per point rather regularly. And when it comes to international flights, wow, you can do far better. 5, 6, 7. I've had up to a 15 cent per point redemption. So when it comes to hotels, I just buy my hotels. I just pay for it. I also have a lot of credits I need to get back from high annual fee cards on hotels. So that kind of naturally pushes me in that direction. But overall, I think that if you look at the math, it's just true that hotel points are not a good value when it comes to using your points. The fifth unpopular opinion I have is that I think it sometimes makes a lot of sense to do speculative transfers. Now, you have transfer bonuses from many of the banks to different partners, and it's always said the conventional wisdom is never do speculative transfers. But this kind of dovetails into my previous opinion that it's good to hoard points. And honestly, if you're thinking that points will devalue, the way to combat that devaluation is to transfer them and get bonus points on top of that. Because let's say you get a 30% transfer bonus. Well, now the points that you transferred, that program has to devalue more than 30% for you to lose out. Otherwise, you've hedged against the inflation of those points. So I think that speculative transfers don't make a lot of sense when somebody has a very small amount of points. But when people have a lot of points and a lot of programs have points to spare, speculative transfers just give you that many more points. It's just profit on your points. So I know it's an unpopular opinion. I know that hardly anybody thinks this is true, but I always do speculative transfers and I amass lots and lots of points through that strategy. And I think that even though it's not always the best idea, for many of us, it actually works out pretty well in the end. And the last one is just kind of something that it's not a big deal. It just kind of, whenever I hear it, it always just kind of, I say, I don't think that's actually true. And it's specific to one airline, and that is Delta. People say all the time when they have Delta status, and I've had high Delta status. I was a platinum for many years. And they'll say, well, I'm always getting upgrades on Delta Airlines. And what they're meaning by that is they're being upgraded to Comfort Plus. Now, you have to understand, Comfort Plus, Delta designates it as a separate cabin, but it's exactly the same thing as what United has in their economy class at the front with extra legroom, or what American Airlines calls main cabin extra. And those are just an elevated economy class seat. Just because Delta puts a curtain between those and the other economy class seats doesn't make it anything special. So it's just kind of something I just say, when people say I got upgraded. No. You're not really being upgraded because their competitors, United and American, if you just have any status at all and you book your flight, they'll put you in those seats at booking, which Delta doesn't even do. Even if you're high status level, they tell you the next day. So it's actually not as good. So it's just one of those little annoyances for me. But I know this from experience from flying Delta a lot with status. That is not an upgrade. Just because it's Comfort Plus, it is a perk of your status, but it's not like being upgraded. That means being put in the first class cabin. So probably an unpopular opinion with many, but for me, that just seems obvious. Well, these are my unpopular opinions, and I know many of you are going to disagree, and that's okay. I may even be wrong about it. Tell me in the comments down below. If you would consider my channel membership, it's just $2.99 a month to be an RM Insider. I do special videos every week for my RM Insiders. I do early release videos, and also we have a Discord channel to communicate with one another. But then I have a higher tier, and it's called Spreadsheet Warriors. It's $19.99 a month, and you get everything from RM Insiders, and also you get access to Zoom sessions. We do 1 or 2 of those a month, and it's live, and we can talk face to face, back and forth, and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other, talk about redemptions, talk about strategy. If you'd like to consider those, either hit the link down below or hit the join button. And I hope to see you as a part of the channel membership. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.